Guys, today we're talking all about gravel biking. So you may be asking yourself, what is gravel biking? Today we're gonna be showing you what makes up a gravel bike, as well as how to get into gravel biking and some of the gear that you're gonna need to get out there. All right, guys, today we're talking all about gravel biking. You may be asking yourself, what is gravel biking? A lot of people look at this and they think, okay, this is a road bike, but this is a little bit different than a road bike, and we're gonna dive into that today. Guys, hopefully at the end of this video, you have a good indication if gravel biking may be something that you might be interested in. All right, guys, let's dive into this right now. So gravel bikes look very similar to a road bike. I mean, you see the handlebars, they got the ram horns, they got the fancy shifters and brake levers up here. And you're right, it is very similar to that of a road bike in the sense that it has all the components that look pretty similar. I mean, you see the more aggressive looking road style frame here. We got a carbon fiber fork up front, very skinny tires, nothing of what you'd see on a mountain bike. For me, this bike is pretty much a crossover between a road bike and a gravel bike. This isn't an extreme gravel bike. There's more gravel bikes out there that don't have this flat bar across the top. It's more sloped down to give more of aggressive mountain bike style frame, and that's what you'd find on a more aggressive bike. This is more of a crossover between a road bike and a gravel bike. So that's going to give you the best of both worlds when it comes to riding this thing on the road, which I do a lot of, and that's why the tire is the way it is. It's not super aggressive, but you can tell out here on the trails it still does the job. So you can do gravel, you can do road, whichever you choose, or do both. You know, a lot of times I'll do a lot of road and then I'll hit the gravel, and this thing can handle both of them. And you might be asking, well, I can do that on my mountain bike. Yeah, you probably could, but it's not going to be nearly as efficient as this bike if you're looking to do a lot of long distance on the road and a lot of gravel distance. Okay, so let's look at the handlebars a little bit. So the handlebars, you can see they are swooped out on the ends. So what that's going to do is give you greater stability at higher speeds off-road. A regular road bike, they're straight in line. They're not tilted out like this, and they're not nearly as wide. So that right there is going to give you a lot of stability on the trails. So that is one key difference. Another one, as you can tell, I only have shifters on this side. There are no shifters over here. And for one reason, and the reason being, this only has one single chain ring up front. Look at that. It only has one chain ring up front. That way you only have to shift gears with the back derailleur there. That is it. So that right there makes the gravel bike super simplistic, and it's not very complicated. It keeps things very simple. Another thing, you saw me lift this thing up. This thing weighs 21 pounds. Super light for a bike. A mountain bike is not going to be 21 pounds. I don't care if it's a carbon fiber frame or anything like that. You may be lucky to get 26 pounds out of it. This thing, 21 pounds. And this is a budget friendly gravel bike. You know, a more expensive one, you could probably get well under 20 pounds with a nice carbon fiber wheel set or something like that. So that's a little bit about the bike. If you have any questions about the bike, you know, hit me up in the comment box below. But as far as a bike goes, go out and get, if you've never done gravel biking before, get you something like this, Poseidon X. This thing was about 600 bucks shipped to my door, so it's not very expensive. Yeah, I've put a couple upgrades on it, maybe around $1,000 range now, but that's still, you couldn't go to a bike shop probably and spend less than $1,000 bucks. So Poseidon X is what I ride. Polygon makes a bunch of really good gravel bikes, and stay tuned, hit that subscribe button. That way you can catch my videos. We're gonna be diving through bikesonline.com, showing you some really good options in mountain biking, gravel biking, and road biking to see if some of those might be what you're looking for. All right, guys, let's talk about some of the gear. As for gear, look at this helmet. This is a mountain bike helmet. So I do a lot of mountain biking as well as gravel biking. And the beauty of a gravel bike is it's kind of a crossover. So you just have to wear your mountain bike helmet. You don't have to go out there and spend a lot of money on a road bike helmet because it's just not necessary, because you're doing a lot of trail use, you're doing a lot of trail stuff and road stuff, so why not just stick to your mountain bike helmet? It's gonna get the job done. Okay, as far as gloves go, when I'm riding my gravel bike, I do opt for more of a road bike style glove. That way it's got the gel padding, it's got the open fingers on it so I can shift and stuff a lot easier with the trigger shifters. But other than that, guys, I just wear my road cycling gloves. I'm not gonna be wearing my mountain bike gloves for this just because I don't think it's necessary. Okay, for footwear, I do wear my mountain bike shoes, and this has a special compound on the bottom. Let's see if we can get it. It does have a very soft compound on the bottom so it grips to my pedals. And I'll show you some of the pedal upgrades that I've done. But I wouldn't always suggest a mountain bike shoe. Honestly, I would probably suggest more of a CrossFit style shoe. You know, a CrossFit shoe is gonna be, it's gonna allow you to have full mobility of your foot. These are kind of restrictive in a way, but I like them because they fit my flat mountain bike pedals really nice. But other than that, I would stick to like a CrossFit style shoe. That way you have foot mobility. And I look at this bike as more of a fitness bike. So if you're looking to get into fitness, get a gravel bike. I think in the long run, it's better than getting a hybrid bike. It's better than getting a road bike because you can go off road with this, and it's gonna be better for fitness than a mountain bike. So I might do a video comparing a mountain bike and a gravel bike later on, but right here, this is a prime fitness bike if I was looking for one. All right, so that's shoes and why the gravel bike is such a good fitness bike. So now let's dive into some of the upgrades I've done on this bike to make it more user-friendly for gravel biking. All right, so these flat mountain bike pedals. The reason I put mountain bike pedals on this is because, you know, I don't want to be clipped in to the pedals. I mean, you could, and it may be more efficient, but I like to do more technical style stuff with my gravel bike. So if I have to bail off the bike really quick, you know, I don't have anything clipped in. That way I can just fall off the bike if I need to, and I still have the grip because of these studs sticking out. And that's where those mountain bike shoes came in handy. It grips into those things really, really nicely. And other than that, guys, I just did Ergon saddle, and that is it. This thing is ready to rock and roll right out of the box. So that is pretty much all the gear you need. Maybe if you want a hydration pack, this is what I carry. That way I don't have a bottle right there just beating, banging around. I usually, if I'm just doing road only, I'll stick a water bottle in there. But this is a hydration pack right here, so I can just drink water the same way I would on a mountain bike, and it's strapped to my back. And I can carry snacks, my wallet, keys, my camera stuff, extra batteries, extra tubes and things like that for the bike, and tools to work on the bike. But we can dive into that in a little bit. But yeah, I would suggest a hydration pack if you're gonna be going out gravel biking. All right, for me, the gravel bike is just perfect if you're looking to get out and just do some fitness style stuff, because it's super light. It gives you the ability to ride on the road, to gravel, get off road, have fun. You're not gonna be able to have as much fun as you would on a mountain bike, in my opinion, because I like to do some small jumps and things like that. Do wheelies. You're not gonna be able to do that kind of stuff on a gravel bike. But if you're looking for the fitness aspect, gravel bike, hands down, is the best out there. Best option, in my opinion. So another thing, the gravel bike is really good at doing hill climbs. And I'm not talking like going out there and just climbing up like steep, rocky stuff, but I'm talking if you have a smooth incline, this thing can go up it really, really easy and not burn you out as bad as if you were on a mountain bike or something like that. So it does really good at that because it's so light, and it still has the gravel tires on it, so it's gonna bite in when you need it to. That's what makes this so good for going off-road. It's just so much more efficient. One of the downsides though of gravel biking is with that smaller tire, you do have to be a little bit more cautious when you're at full speed, because if you were to hit this pea gravel stuff really fast, like in a turn, you're gonna have to be careful because that back end can slide out really easy. But that's where you're gonna have to learn how to control the back end on this thing. Learn how to lock your brake up, slide that back end, and you can really have fun out there doing that kind of stuff, sliding around. You just have to be a little bit more cautious than on a mountain bike. All right, so we already talked about the bars a little bit, but the bars, that wide stance on the bars, I mean, even if you're in the hoods or in the drops, you can really get some good stability out of the bike because it's so much wider than a road bike. So you're gonna be able to go down the trails and really just have more control than you would if you tried doing that on a road bike, which I wouldn't suggest. The tires, I don't think, would hold up against it. But that is one awesome thing about the gravel bike. Another thing that you want to look for in a good gravel bike is a carbon fiber fork. This right here is like your only suspension. This thing will give a little bit, other than like a aluminum fork, which isn't going to give it all. This right here is going to soak up and absorb some of the shock from going across different terrain a little bit. It's not going to be like suspension by no means, so don't misconstrue that. Definitely just going to soak up the bumps a little, and that is it. So look for a carbon fiber fork. All right, so the gravel bike is really nimble off-road. Believe it or not, this thing, you can weave in and out of stuff really, really quick, especially out here where there's a lot of cactus and just all kinds of shrubs and stuff on the sides of the trails. And those trails can get really skinny and narrow at times. So this thing is really nimble and you can really go in and out of that really quick. So one thing you want to look for when you're descending hills is you really want to get back on this bike, because the nature of this thing, you're really tilted forward. So you kind of have to get in a mountain bike stance a little bit. So if you had a good dropper post or something, you could drop the seat down. I don't have one of those. I just get really far back on my bike and try to lean back a little bit to get the weight on the back wheel. Because if you're too far forward and you were to hit something just the wrong way, you could end up going end over end, and that's not what you want. So keep it safe, lean back on the descents, and you should be just fine. As hopefully you like this video, a little bit of an intro into what gravel biking is and how it differs from like mountain biking and road cycling and things like that. But if you're looking, guys, I'm telling you, if you're looking for a good fitness bike, gravel biking is where it is at. You can have fun out on the trails. You can have fun out on the roads. It's a hybrid bike in a sense, but it's better than a normal, what you would call hybrid bike. This thing is multi-use. So you're really going to get the bang for the buck out of a gravel bike. So give it a try if you haven't tried one before. Go out to a bike shop and see if you can rent one. That way you can go out and test it before you actually spend a lot of money and buy a gravel bike. But I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I know if you like mountain biking, but you're not into jumping and things like that, you're just into riding trails and light trails at that, get a gravel bike. This thing is going to hit the mark for you because it's just that good. I mean, it's the best of both worlds, honestly. Because you can still do the road stuff. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Head over to my main channel page. You can check out more videos on biking, gravel biking, mountain biking, things like that. Definitely go over and check that out. Like and subscribe. If you're not a member of the channel, we would love to have you. All right, thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you guys later.